A Singaporean passport tops every visa-free ranking on the planet. But why do investors go elsewhere? It offers settlement rights in just one country. An Irish passport sits several slots lower on the same rankings, but Citizenship unlocks 34 countries for you and your family. That gap is the difference between the ranking everyone follows and the ranking that actually matters for your quality of life and opportunities. In this video, you'll learn the fastest possible citizenship in all 13 supranational settlement blocks, counted down by speed, ending with the fastest entry point on the planet. Quick context first. If you haven't watched our guide to supranational settlement blocks and aren't familiar with their value, a bloc is a treaty arrangement that gives every citizen of every member country the right to live, work, and own property anywhere in the bloc. Essentially, one citizenship can unlock dozens of countries at once. The European Union is, of course, the most famous bloc, but there are 12 more, and most investors have never heard of them. That video we mentioned is the foundation for this one, so we'll link it again at the end. Starting at the bottom of the speed list with number 13, the Gulf Cooperation Council, whose members are Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Citizens of any of those get 6 full settlement rights across all 6. The problem, though? Naturalization in a GCC country is effectively impossible for non-Arabs. Bahrain requires 25 years of residence. Oman requires 20, and Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar operate the most restrictive frameworks on Earth. There's just one exception: the UAE's discretionary nomination program for exceptional talent introduced in 2021, but case selection is opaque and the numbers are negligible. Now, number 12. The Indo-Nepal Treaty of Peace and Friendship, signed in 1950. It's one of the freest settlement arrangements on the planet. Citizens of either country can travel, settle, work, and own property across both, the same rights as locals. The issue, however, is the timeline. India requires 12 years of residence to naturalize, 11 in the past 14, plus 1 continuous year right before applying. And Nepal requires 15. Neither offers an investment-linked path, so membership perks are substantive, but the entry could take more than a decade. Number 11, the Compact of Free Association. Citizens of the Federated States of Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and Palau can settle freely in the United States. Did you know that? But only if they're natural-born citizens or acquired citizenship before 1986. Naturalized citizens of those 3 Pacific states do not get the bloc benefit. So, the only realistic CoFA entry point is US naturalization itself. 5 years as a green card holder, 3 if married to a US citizen. The trade-off is US citizenship-based taxation, which follows you globally for life or until you renounce. Tax exposure in this case is a significant cost. Number 10. CARICOM CSME. Caribbean Community Single Market and Economy. Most member states naturalize residents after roughly 5 years, but accessing full bloc settlement requires a CARICOM Skills Certificate. Most citizens who acquire their passport through Citizenship by Investment or CBI cannot get one. The bloc carved out a smaller fast lane in October 2025. Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines now extend full freedom of movement to each other regardless of skills certificate status. A Dominica passport obtained by direct investment in the country within months gets you settlement in those 4 countries automatically. Number 9. The Nordic Passport Union. Sweden was the fastest entry through this bloc until next month. In June 2026, the new Swedish citizenship law raises the residence requirement from 5 years to 8, with new language, civics, and self-sufficiency tests added on top. After that date, Iceland becomes the bloc's fastest path at 7 years. But there's a deeper issue. Every NPU country except Iceland and the Faroes is already an EU member, so most of the bloc benefits overlap with the EU EEA rights anyway. The NPU's marginal value is access to Greenland and the Faroe Islands, both Danish overseas territory that sit outside the EU. Number 8. The East African Community, which comprises 8 countries: Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya, Rwanda, Somalia, South Sudan, Tanzania and Uganda. Most members impose long naturalization timelines. Tanzania 10 years, Burundi 10, Uganda 20. However, Rwanda is the fastest at 5 years of legal residence, with dual citizenship permitted and an active investor visa feeding into the clock. The EAC's Common Market Protocol gives every member state citizen visa-free travel and renewable residence permits across all 8 countries. 5-year path, rewards, but only if you have a specific reason to be in East Africa. This is where the countdown starts to attract significant value. Number 7, the Common Travel Area, which covers Ireland, the United Kingdom, Guernsey, Jersey and the Isle of Man, with full mutual settlement rights between all 5 jurisdictions. You can naturalise as Irish after 5 years of reckonable residence, so that's a 5-year path to 5 places useful but not earth-shattering. However, Ireland is particularly interesting for one reason. It's also a member of the European Union and European Economic Area, another bloc we'll mention later that covers 30 additional countries. Stack the two together and a single Irish naturalisation gives you settlement rights across 34 jurisdictions. 5 years, 34 countries where you can live, work and access other privileges. The largest single passport settlement footprint accessible through naturalisation anywhere on the planet. And the pathway is straightforward. Qualify for residency through one of Ireland's investor or stamp-based routes, accumulate 5 of reckonable presence, then naturalise. Compare that to the Singaporean passport, which tops every passport ranking but lets you settle in only one country. If you're trying to map out which paths exist in which countries and how they actually stack against each other, IMI Sovereign's members use our Citizenship catalogue. Every route to citizenship across 196 countries. 6 pathways, each in one place. Pinned comment for link and a nice discount. Number 6, the European Union and European Economic Area bloc on its own. A standard naturalisation in most member states takes upward of 5 years, with France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg and Bulgaria being the fastest of them all. But Cyprus has a faster lane. Under civil registry law amendments passed in 2023 and 2024, highly skilled professionals employed at foreign interest companies registered with the Cyprus Business Facilitation Unit can naturalise after just 4 years of legal residence with B1 Greek or 5 years with A2 Greek. The final 12 months of either path must be continuous. You need a qualifying job, committed Greek language study, and genuine integration with a Cyprus business. For the applicant who fits, 4 years gets you EU citizenship and 30 countries of settlement rights. Germany ran a similar 3-year fast track between June 2024 and October 2025 with C1 German. The current coalition scrapped that route last October, however, and recall that Portugal's nationality law passed in 2026 and extended the timeline to 10 years. The window for sub-5-year citizenship in the European Union is narrowing. Number 5, the Trans-Tasman Travel Arrangement. Australians and New Zealanders get full mutual settlement rights between the 2 countries. Australia's standard naturalisation timeline is 4 years of residence, with one of those years as a permanent resident, beating New Zealand's 5-year clock. Australian investor visa pathways feed into the residency timer, and the country allows dual citizenship. The bloc covers only 2 jurisdictions, but they're 2 of the wealthiest and most stable economies in the Pacific. Potentially good, distant Plan B destinations for the right profile. Number 4, the Eurasian Economic Union. 5 countries: Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Russia. Armenia is the entry point here, and it's the most remote-friendly bloc on this entire list. 3 years of permanent residency, then naturalisation. The Armenian Migration Service does not require minimum physical presence during the qualifying period. You hold a residence permit for 3 years. You can apply irrespective of whether you actually lived in Armenia. The only soft limit is no single absence exceeding 6 months, which keeps your PR card valid. Russia and most other EAEU members impose renunciation requirements on naturalized citizens. Armenia's openness to dual citizenship is what makes it the cleanest entry. A new fast-track investor permanent residency program goes live in August 2026, granting a 5-year PR card on a qualifying investment with no minimum stay. Keep your eyes peeled to IMI's website and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the news. Number 3. The Andean Community, which counts 4 members: Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. Bolivia and Ecuador both naturalized foreign residents after 3 years of continuous legal residency. Peru extended its requirement from 2 years to 5 in August 2025, though the implementing regulations haven't fully landed yet, so the old 2-year rule still applies in practice for now. What makes the Andean Community worth a serious look is the stacking math. Every member is also a signatory of the MERCOSUR Residence Agreement. However, the bloc itself is in flux. Colombian President Gustavo Petro announced in April 2026 that Colombia would exit to upgrade to full MERCOSUR membership, with the current presidential elections deciding whether his proposal will get any traction. Even if the bloc fragments down to 3 members, Bolivian citizenship keeps its MERCOSUR stacking benefit either way. Number 2. The MERCOSUR Residence Agreement. 9 countries. Here we go. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay. The largest settlement bloc on the planet by area, 16.4 million square kilometers. Argentina is now the only MERCOSUR member offering a 2-year naturalization timeline after Peru extended its clock to 5 years. Under Argentine Law 346 Article 2, foreigners with continuous legal residence for 2 years can petition for naturalization. A May 2025 decree tightened the definition of continuous residence to mean 0 days outside Argentina during the 2-year window. That's a meaningful constraint for international travellers. Entry into the residency clock is accessible. The Rentista program requires monthly foreign source income of just $1,500. Argentina is also building Latin America's first CBI framework, with implementing regulations expected to land in late 2026. If that program launches as designed, Argentina becomes the only country in the world offering both a 2-year residency-based path and direct citizenship by investment. Finally, number 1, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. 6 member countries, 5 of which run active CBI programs: Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Donation thresholds range from $200,000 for a single applicant in Dominica to $250,000 in St. Kitts and Nevis. Processing typically runs 4 to 8 months. Only Sao Tome and Principe, Vanuatu, and Nauru deliver faster passports, but they do not belong to any settlement blocs. What sets OECS apart from every other bloc on this list is what happens after the passport arrives. All OECS citizens, however they acquired the citizenship, get equal rights to work, business establishment, education, healthcare, and social security across the bloc. CBI citizens are not second class. CARICOM, which we covered earlier, treats CBI citizens differently. OECS does not. The October 2025 expansion adds 3 more countries to the practical CBI citizen footprint. Dominica CBI passport now gets you settlement in the 6 OECS member states, plus Barbados, Belize, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the only OECS member that doesn't currently run a CBI program. Prime Minister Goodwin Friday has confirmed plans to launch one by mid-2026, which would close the gap further, but we shall see. So that's the ranking. 13 blocks. Slowest naturalization to fastest. The follow-up question is the one we hinted at earlier. Our settlement block guide goes deeper into how passport stacking works across multiple blocks, why one citizenship can unlock dozens of countries at once, and how to think strategically about which blocks to enter together. Check the video out on your screen now. Hit subscribe and the notification bell to make sure you catch the next one.